Hi everyone, welcome back to Noby 2025 and to my first Shop My Stash of the year. This is a really exciting video because it is a collab with a very dear friend of mine, Kelly from Keep Beauty Real. I'm sure you guys have heard me talk about Kelly. I mention her in a lot of my videos because we do chit chat about makeup and life behind the scenes quite a lot. This was actually her idea, so stick around to see what I've picked out from my winter Shop My Stash, and then make sure you head on over to Kelly's channel and watch her video as well. Well, hi everyone. How are you guys doing? It is mid-January already. How? I don't know. The month of January is just flying by so fast. I don't understand. I just don't understand. But what we're doing, even though it seems like winter is just going to fly by, is we're doing a Shop My Stash today. Kelly had this great idea of doing a seasonal Shop My Stash together because she knows I'm doing a no-buy year, and she has been very, very good about rotating through her makeup and being very mindful about what she brings into her collection. So this is a perfect video for both of us, and we both have a lot of makeup just sitting around and getting neglected. I think I am the worst offender when it comes to that. I think she's a lot better, but nonetheless, she's encouraging me to shop my stash, and I love that. And there's a spin on this one too, because we are each giving ourselves and each other prompts for different products to pick out for the Shop My Stash. I realized I never even introduced myself because why would I? Why would I? For those of you that are new to my channel, hi and welcome. My name is Natalia. I'm a concert pianist that loves all things makeup and beauty, and 2025 is a no-buy year for me. I am not purchasing any makeup or skincare or perfume for that matter in 2025. Follow me on this journey, support me. I definitely will need it, and I will be more than happy to give you that support as well. If you're doing a no-buy or low-buy, please consider subscribing and joining us here. And without further ado, let's get into this Shop My Stash. So I have a whole little baggie that I have prepared to discuss with you guys. I'm gonna roll a little clip of what my collection looks like. I know a lot of people actually go through the drawers and pick out products, and that's kind of the fun, I guess, of Shop My Stash. I just don't have the setup, unfortunately, to do that. There's really no way for me to place a tripod low enough where you guys can see underneath my desk, because that is primarily where I store all of my makeup, with the exception of my eyeshadow palettes that I'm using for that season, and just a few drawers off to the side here that house things like liners, mascaras, and all of my lip products, so things that are within easy reach to complete a look. I'm gonna show you guys the behind the scenes real quick, and then we're going to jump back in and we're gonna talk about the prompts, the products, and then at the end, of course, I would love for you to let me know what you are shopping your stash for during this winter season, and I cannot wait to see what Kelly is going to pick out. I always love her Shop My Stash videos. They're always really thorough and mindful and full of great ideas and things that I then go, ooh, I should pull that out too, or ooh, I have something similar, even if it's not exactly the same. So I have a feeling my Shop My Stash after watching her video is probably going to expand. We'll see. Kelly and I have both been watching and consuming YouTube for probably about the same time, and that has been quite a long time. So we have even like older products than most people. I've picked out a few of those, not too many. I tried to find a good balance, but there's definitely some oldies in here. So yeah, let me show you how I store my collection, and then let's get right into this. Hi guys, I am not going to be doing this format. I just wanted to show you an overview. I mean, yes, it's a mess, but it's my mess and it works for me. I have these towers here with like mascaras and cream eyeshadows and single eyeshadows, eyeliners, lip products. Most of this is lip products, starting from this drawer where I have balms and glosses, pencils, and a few leftovers that don't fit anywhere else, bullet lipsticks, more bullet lipsticks, liquid lipsticks and overflow of bullet lipsticks and some odds and ends brushes. These are my winter eyeshadow palettes. I have a video on that. These are just some other things, either overflow or newer palettes that I really would like to use more. And then basically down here is where I store most of my makeup. So just wanted to show you, but because it's a tight space in here and I can't really set up a tripod easily, I'm not gonna be doing this holding my phone. I just figured, since it is a shop my stash and most of the time people really like to see the products, I would show you. So bronzers, highlighters, some palettes. These are all of my eyeshadow palettes, but I'm not gonna pull any out because I already, as I mentioned, have all of these guys. And then in here I have foundations, concealers, way more powders than I need, primers, scrunchies, sprays, and I have a few larger sprays chilling over there along with like wipes and stuff. I think I already showed this, but this is all my blushes, and this I really need to downsize this year because there's like layers upon layers of blush. I went blush crazy in 2024, and I mean, I wouldn't say my blush collection doubled, but like I didn't really have any of these Danessa Myricks or Merit before. A few of these cream ones are new additions. I bought the Singe Beauty blushes. There's a bunch of palettes all along. So I'm gonna just pick things out and then go back on camera, front view like I normally do, and show you what I have selected for my Shop My Stash. I'll probably just throw everything into this nice baggie and then keep it right here for me to use when I get ready. So you saw that I just have a bunch of different drawers with different things. Some of them I really want to pare down this year, and that's part of the no buy project. I want to both use up and rotate through as much of my makeup as I can to see if there are some things that maybe I can let go of, because like my blush drawer is out of hand. There's things stacked on top of each other and I don't want that. I want to be able to pull out and just see everything. I'm hoping these Shop My Stash videos, along with my baskets of doom, which I was hoping to already have up by now, but this month is just not going according to any sort of plan. But we're taking it one day at a time and one video at a time, and it'll all get done somehow. And if it doesn't, well, I guess that's also okay. So let's talk about the prompts. The two prompts that Kelly has given me, and I'm assuming she's going to do the same ones, because I think if I understood her correctly, we agreed that we would each give each other two prompts, but then we would also do our own. So hence 4 prompts. So the two that she gave me are for me to pull out my least used blush, a powder and a cream, and to pull out a product that is too light for me the majority of the year. And since we are in winter, this would be a good time to do it. Now, granted, I am so pale pretty much the majority of the year. I do get like maybe half a shade darker, maybe a shade darker in the summer, depending on what the product is. So I put a slightly different spin on that specific prompt, where I actually pulled up products that I think are too light for me all year, and I want to see if I can somehow make them work. And if not, they gotta go. So actually, let's start with those because they're both complexion products. So I pulled out this very fancy Guerlain foundation. I'm not even gonna try to say, and I'm again in cinematic mode because of course I forget that I'm showing product. It's French and I'm not even gonna try. This is in 00W. So I guess that means like super duper light warm. And I found this at TJ Maxx by now, probably almost 2 years ago. I've only used it a few times. I mean, you can see there is some usage, but the reason I've only used it a few times, aside from the fact that I actually think it might be a little drying for me, so we're gonna have to test that out again. But also, when I remember using it, it was really just too pale for me. Now, granted, maybe I used it in the summer when I was a little bit darker, and that is why it was too pale. So I think this is the perfect product for the prompt, and I'm actually really grateful to Kelly for giving me this prompt, because this is a foundation I have been meaning to test out for a really long time. This is going to give me that opportunity to do so. And the other product is actually something I got from my friend Sarah, also here on YouTube. I'll make sure to link her channel. This is the Koki. It's unfortunately rubbing off. I think it's called the Double Time Full Cover Concealer, and it is in Fair Ivory. I have used this, especially when I first got it. I was so curious to test it out. when I first got it, we were just coming out of summer. I think it was in September. So again, I may have been a little bit more tan, and I just would mix it with like a darker concealer and make it work. But I do want to give this a proper testing right now in the middle of January when I am at my fairest to see, is this a product I can use on its own during the winter time, or will I have to constantly mix it in with something else? And in that case, am I actually going to bother doing that? Because I always want to be that person that mixes and matches and does concoctions, but I've noticed, especially in the past year, the motto has been just ease, speed and ease. The fewer steps, the faster I can do my makeup, the better. So I have a feeling that certain things this year I just need to let go of, not because they're bad products, but because they just don't serve my lifestyle. Those two are the products that we have selected, well, that I have selected for the prompt, products that are too light for me most of the year. The second prompt that Kelly provided me with was my least used blush, a powder and a cream. I mean, I could have had probably a blush for every day this winter in the least used category because I just have so much blush. I don't have time to go through it. So it's not least used because I don't like it. It's just least used because there's not enough time or cheeks and way too many blushes. But I kind of went with, when I opened the drawer, whatever I gravitated towards first. And also, I have a bunch of blushes that I either just recently purchased and still haven't gotten around to testing or using. And I even found a few that I purchased sometime last year, like earlier in the year, and I still haven't used. I did not put those in here. I can't remember if I grabbed one new one, but I don't think I did. I think I wanted it to actually be like least used blush that I've already owned for a while, and for some reason I'm still not pulling for it, so I'd like to figure out why. I'd like to figure out if it is a worthwhile blush for me to keep. So for least used powder, I actually have 3 of these blushes, but I chose just one of the colors that I have used really the least. In fact, I don't know, maybe once. And this is the Huda Beauty Glowish blush. This is in Caring Coral, so that is what the shade looks like. It is definitely bright, but I figured it could work for the winter and give that whole in from the cold look, especially if I use it on certain parts of my cheek and I do it light-handedly. I almost never use these glowish blushes. Yes, I bought them at a steal of like $7 or $8 each, but that yet again proves that we just should not be buying things on sale that normally we would not be buying at all, because I'm just not reaching for them. And I need to figure out, is it a formula that I'm actually going to enjoy once I do finally start using it? Or is it really just a placeholder in my drawer and I need to get rid of those blushes? And then a cream one that I remember enjoying, but for some reason I've been overlooking it. I think because I'm overwhelmed with suddenly the number of amazing cream blushes that I own. I went from having almost no cream blush at the beginning of 2024 to now suddenly having half a drawer. But the Tower 28 Beach Please in Magic Hour is a blush that I have barely used. And I would say that probably out of my cream blushes, this definitely is one of my least, or at least lesser used ones. I think there was another one that I was considering, but the shade really did not speak to me. And I knew that, you know, if I just put it in here just to put it in here, I'm probably not going to use it anyways. Whereas this one, I'm really curious as to why I haven't been falling for it. And it's a fairly neutral shade that can work year round. And then I did one extra cream one because I know I'm more into cream blushes nowadays. And I figured I would use that opportunity to test out another one that I just have been neglecting. This is a Sydney Grace cream blush in Strawberry Cheesecake. In fact, I can't tell. This actually might be one that I have never used. So I guess we have a powder least used, a cream least used, and a brand new, although that I have at least probably 10 of. We're gonna go with this one because we're gonna circle through a little bit at a time. Slow and steady. I don't want to overwhelm myself because because I'm also going to have a palette with depotted blushes. I mean, talk about least used. I would also say these are probably some of the oldest blushes I own. So this is a palette that I had pulled into my basket of doom last year, and I never got around to using these blushes. I have a Tarte one. I've talked about this before. It was like a Rainforest of the Something palette. It was a round palette with a snake, a fake wood effect on the front, and this was the blush in the center of it. I loved that blush at the time. I am actually wearing this blush and the Tarte one mixed together today. This is a Boots number 7 blush in Honey Natural. I think they used to be called the blush tint powders. I'd be surprised if these are still available. I want to say this was one that Kathleen Lights talked about back in the early days of Kathleen Lights. So I'm pretty sure I bought that with her recommendation. And then this one is a Makeup Geek blush in Romance. This one right here on the bottom. So again, all of these are basically inspired by the least used blush prompt, but I just wanted to give myself some variety. And then the last blush is a L'Oreal True Match in Sculpted Rose. I have no idea how long I've had this one either. Years and years, I'm sure. So I want to see how the quality is on all of these. I figured since I've been really into blush, even though I am selecting quite a few, even if I use each one a couple of times, it's at least going to give me an idea of whether I like them enough. And I have a feeling some of them, if I really don't feel like they're serving a purpose, I'm just going to get rid of them. I'm not even going to overthink it. Like for example, this, the Honey Natural or whatever from Boots number 7, I'm going to use it 1 or 2 more times just to make sure my first gut instinct was correct. But my first gut instinct was really like the natural color. Would love to go through my collection and see if I have another color similar to that in a more updated new formula, because I just didn't feel like this was anything special. It took a lot of building up, had almost no pigment. I really enjoyed the shade though, so we're gonna see if I have something similar. That's spoilers, possibly one that at the end of this Shop My Stash I'm gonna get decluttered. Okay, so now let's talk about the 2 prompts that I gave Kelly. One was a product that brings you joy and sunshine on gloomy winter days, and the other one was a chopping block product that you've been avoiding, or that we've been avoiding making a decision on. I actually decided to select a highlighter for both of these categories because I really enjoy highlighter. I know it hasn't been overly trendy. I have a feeling it's going to come back, but I've noticed that the past few months there's been this one highlighter that is very outside of my comfort zone, but something about it when I wear it puts a little extra pep in my step, and I thought this could be both on trend and a fun way to add that little bit of not so much sunshine, because it's not necessarily like a strictly yellow product, but it kind of can give a little bit of extra pizzazz to my look and a little bit of extra sparkle. And I'm talking about a highlighter that actually is from Alien Cosmetics, which if you guys don't know is what Unearthly Cosmetics used to be. They had to, I think for legal reasons, change their name a few years back. This was their highlighter in Danny. I am sure it's no longer available because of course Alien Cosmetics is not even a brand that technically exists. I mean it does, but it's been Unearthly Cosmetics now for a number of years. This is a very blingy, I can't tell if it's multi-chromatic or just dual chromatic highlighter, but it definitely has a shift to it. It is in between the icy trend that we've been seeing and a little bit of that yellow gold peeking through it. I know that this is something I can put on the really gloomy days, and it just instantly is gonna put me in a better mood. It has a little bit of something extra that I don't normally have in my highlighters. This is an unusual one from my collection. When I was going through my highlighter drawer, I kind of like perked up when I saw it. I was like, ooh, I haven't used this in a little while, but the few times that I have, I remember it just made me really happy. So I thought that this would be a really good one for a product product that brings me a little bit of joy and sunshine on gloomy winter days. And then a chopping block product that I have been avoiding making a decision on is a highlighter that was my ultimate favorite for so many years. And it is just so old that I am worried it is too powdery and just not worth keeping anymore. But my heart just can't let go of it yet. So I just keep avoiding using it because I'm worried that I'm going to be disappointed. And the product I'm talking about is the Laura Mercier. This is their Matte Radiance Baked Powder in Highlight 01. I have to look to see if they still make this. Now, I'm on a no-buy, so I can't replace it right now. But if they do still make this, and if this product is in fact too old and will leave my collection this year, then I will probably repurchase it in 2026. This is the only highlighter, domed highlighter, that I have ever rubbed off a good chunk of the dome. This was my most used highlighter for the longest time. Everything else that I pulled out is just things that as I was going through the drawers, decided that now is the time. I just realized that I had one other product in the something that is too light for me the rest of the year category, and that was the number 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Finishing Powder in Light. This is supposed to be in light, and I swear this is so fair that it's ultra fair. So this is another powder that I've used very little because even on me, I find that it is very light. So I should really try it out and see, can I make it work at least in the winter time, or is it really one of those products that should not be in my collection? Okay, now I think everything else is just random things that I would like to use at least once or twice this season and see how I like them. A couple of highlighters, since I was just on the topic of highlighters. I haven't used my Give Beauty Check My Glow in Platinum Cowgirl in a really long time. I did use this today. I have to be honest, I was underwhelmed, and I was kind of shocked by that because when I first got it, I really thought I loved this highlighter. So I'd like to test it out some more. A really old highlighter. This was from the ColourPop Villains collection. This is the Ursula Poor Unfortunate Souls. In fact, mine has come off the cardboard, so I actually need to crazy glue or gorilla glue it. And this is a really cool highlighter that has almost like a lilac, purple, pink shift to it. So I thought for the winter, this would be really great, especially if I create more mauve and purple and blue looks. I think between this and that Danny highlighter from former Alien Cosmetics, that could be really fun. And it's a putty, what is that called? The formula from ColourPop. Their, putty formula. It still seems fine. Nothing's drying out, but especially because the packaging is completely falling apart, I really want to use it and see how it still applies on the face. Couple of bronzers. This Milani bronzer, I don't remember the last time I used it, so even though I have a bronzer, I have actually 2 bronzers I'm working on in my project pan for the year. I wanted to see if I could use this at least a couple of times this season just to find out how I still enjoy it. And the same thing with this Laura Geller Bronze and Brighten in Fair. I think this was another one of those projects that used to be in a basket of doom, and I think I tried it once or twice, but it's been so long I've again forgotten how I felt about it. I think this is another one of those products that I could categorize as a chopping block product that I've just been stalling on. In this case though, it's not like with the Laura Mercier highlighter. That one I'm just attached to because I love the product so much, and it had been through so much with me. It's traveled, it's seen me in all sorts of stages of life. Whereas this one, I don't know, I guess I'm kind of uninspired by it, so I don't care as much. That probably should be a sign to just get rid of it, but then again, I'm one of those people that doesn't like doing that. I want to give products a chance, so we're going to give it one more try. And then lastly, for face products, I would like to rotate through my face palettes this year because I have so many and I have not reached for them in a really long time. So I decided, because Sephora is releasing something that to me looks like an updated version of this and is so similar, that I would pull out my Sephora Micro Smooth, the multitasking baked face palette in Enchant. I'm on a no-buy anyways, but even if I wasn't, why would I ever buy the newer version of this when I have this and I'm barely using it? It's a great palette. I have used it before. I've really enjoyed it, but I haven't used it in a while. style. Okay, let's talk about some eye products. There will be no eyeshadows in this video because I have an entire winter palette picks video and I am trying to work through those palettes. I'll link the video for you guys in case you're curious to see which eyeshadow palettes I am trying to rotate through this winter. But I decided to pull in a few single eyeshadows. One of my goals is to actually try some of my cream eyeshadows this year because I have a whole drawer full of them and I virtually never use them. It's possible that I'm just not ever going to be that person, but since I already have these products and since they are creams, I would like to at least test them. And who knows, maybe I will fall in love with some of them, or maybe I'm just continuously fooling myself. I have the About Face Cream Shadow in, is this in Capulets?
Oh my goodness. What does that say? Yeah, I think this is in Capulets. My eyes. Wow. Okay, getting older sucks. Just saying.
This is the matte fluid eye paint from About Face, and I selected this along with a bunch of other products because of the Pantone color of the year. I decided I'm gonna look through and see what mocha inspired products I have. I guess it's a little bit on the light side for the mocha, but it definitely, I think, is on trend. The one that I have a giant swatch of, and that's because when I opened it, a ton of product leaked out and I didn't want to waste it. So I decided to just do the swatch right there and then. And this is from Sydney Grace. It is their cream shadow in I Don't Know. And that looks gloriously beautiful. I really love that shade. It's not quite maybe mocha, but I feel like it is still in that family. Yes, it does have more of an antique bronze to it, but I could definitely make this work with the mocha trend, with a brown lip like I have on today, or something of that matter. And then I also wanted a lighter shade because a lot of times nowadays I'm doing a really quick look and I don't want to do an elaborate eye. I want something really light. One of the things I've been doing a lot on the run, on the go, or when I'm in a hurry is just putting one of my, is it a Laura Mercier Caviar stick? No, I don't have any of those. It's the Bobbi Brown Longwear Cream Shadow Stick in Golden Bronze. And it kind of reminds me actually of, well, not quite, but similar family, except of course I swatched it in the worst place. I don't know if you can see. So the thin swatch is the Bobbi Brown. The thicker swatch is Sydney Grace. I've been using the Bobbi Brown just all over the eye, buffing it with a brush, with my finger tapping the Moon Dust Space Cowboy shade from Urban Decay all over, and that's that. That has been my go-to for the days when I don't have time for an eyeshadow palette. In that spirit, I decided to pull out these shades, but as I was starting to say, I wanted a lighter one in case I do want like a little bit of a spotlight, a little bit of something brighter. This is in Candlelight. It looks, is this a rose gold? It has a bit of a rose gold to it. So I think that that is very beautiful. Those are the three cream shadows. Oh no, I guess if we consider the Surratt as a cream, it's kind of like a weird putty. This is the Soufflé eyeshadow in, is it Grease Dew? Grease? I don't know, French. I used to know how to say that. I have a friend that is from Montreal. I will have to ask him. It has like a cool, wet souffle texture. I used to wear this shadow a lot. Again, it has that green bronze feel to it. You're gonna notice that I definitely have been having a type. I haven't worn this souffle shadow in a little while, but the moment I opened my drawer with all my single eyeshadows, I pulled for that one. I was like, ooh, yes, I am right now in that zone. It is definitely not as pigmented, but it has a little bit more shine, and I'm really excited to use it again. Now that I've opened it, I can smell the alcohol, so I'm hoping also that it's not going to dry out on me. Even more reason to pull it out and use it, because if after my no-buy year I ever want to replace it, I am sure this is going to cost me a pretty penny, because Surratt is a very expensive brand. And then last but not least, because I have been enjoying my Moon Dust Space Cowboy so much, and I have the old ones in the old packaging, I decided to just pick out one more, and I just picked out the most wintry shade that I have, and that is this iridescent purple lilac shade. This is the one in Intergalactic. I still have this packaging. This is the really old Urban Decay Moondust eyeshadow packaging. I thought this would be really pretty this time of the year. Everything else like eyeliners, I mean, I just have a drawer. And whatever color I need as I go, I pull out from there. So I don't really need to create a shop my stash for that. I'm already shopping my stash just naturally. However, what I did want to pull out a lot of, because I just forget to go through the drawers and end up pulling for 2 or 3 of the same products, are lip products. For lip liners, on theme with the mocha trend, I chose the 3 that I thought I have in my collection that would fit that bill. This Jaunty Blue lip liner pencil in the shade Spice. 2 ColourPop Lippie pencils because they are definitely falling out of their packaging, even though when you draw with them, they're still very, very creamy. One of these I have on my lips today. I want to say it's this one in BFF3, and then this one is in Control. I've also recently have gotten a little bit back into my liquid lipsticks, and of course most of mine are very, very old because I still have them from the first time around that trend was in session. I know that some companies are re-releasing liquid lipsticks now, and I'm sure the formulas are much better. If I really do get into liquid lipsticks again, I will probably end up decluttering most of my old ones and repurchasing just a few key shades in 2026. I think this year would be a great opportunity for me to find out what shades I love and am gravitating towards. So I pulled out a few of my old liquid lipsticks. I have one that is in my project pan, and then this is in Truffle, which was a shade I used to use all the time. Let's test it out again. This is probably one of my newer ones because I went through a complete Truffle back in the day and repurchased it, but I think I repurchased it. I mean, it had to still be already 4 years ago. Don't gasp, I know. But it's just me. If my liquid lipsticks smell off, I toss them. Otherwise, if they're still smelling the way they're supposed to and the texture is still good, why not continue to use them? This came in a little set, these little Huda Beauty liquid matte lipsticks. I have them in Trophy Wife and Muse. And since I have been back on the mauve train, I figured let's pull out whatever mauves I could quickly find. Now, one of these is deeper than a mauve, but these came in a set together, and I used to wear them together like as an ombre effect. So the top one is Muse, the bottom one is Trophy Wife. You can see the bottom one is more of a brighter pink, like a deep pink. And last but not least, Stila Stay All Day liquid lipstick in Patina. Those of you who know, you know, still smells fine, still smells exactly like I remember. And this was the type of mauve that I used to wear all the time. This was one of my favorite lipsticks. I believe I used to have a full size that I went through. And then there was this little set that I bought with this mini. I'm actually excited to test these out again and see, are they really going to be ridiculously drying and I'm not going to want to use them at all, or can I make these work? Okay, and last but not least, we've got some bullet lipsticks. I recently found out that NARS discontinued the Audacious line of lipsticks, and I am heartbroken over it. But it also means that I really should start using the ones I have because they are not going to get any younger, and I'm not going to be able to replace them either. So I pulled out one of my most used nudes back in the day. This is in Raquel. This one, it's an all year. I mean, I want to say I use it more in the summer, but it is the lightest Audacious color I think I own. So I decided to put it in. And then I think the other one that was equally light, and I wanted to compare the two in terms of formula. Actually, the colors are quite different. For some reason, they looked more similar when I was just looking at them in the tube. The last 3 I was hoping would be mocha inspired shades. This is Huda Beauty Hustler, Pat McGrath. This is the Luxe Trance lipstick in Lavish. This is a darker brown nude. And last but not least, I pulled out the Very Victoria from Charlotte Tilbury. This one's a matte. The other 2 are creams. Those are my mocha Pantone Color of the Year inspired lippies that I decided to pull out. I was gonna do actually a video on that, but I don't know. Would you guys want to see me pull out blushes and bronzers and lip products and eyeshadow eyeshadow palettes that would fit the Pantone color of the year vibe, or do we all just know that we have a ton of beautiful browns in our collection and we don't need to be reminded of that? These are all of, so these three, and then this whole armful of lip products, the eyeshadow singles, and then you guys saw all the blushes and other face products. It's definitely a lot for somebody like me, but we also still have 2 months of winter if we're going off of how the weather's been, and also the fact that technically spring doesn't start until end of March. So I'm really hoping that I can rotate through the majority of these products. Let me know what you are using this winter, what is in your Shop My Stash. Other than that, I think this is where we're going to end today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe. Definitely go watch Kelly's video. Go check out Kelly's channel, as she has tons of incredible videos, and she's just an all-around incredible person. Let's just be real. Since she's keeping beauty real, I'm gonna keep it real with you about Kelly. She is incredible. She is kind, she is generous, she is super busy, but will always make time for her friends. I adore Kelly. And I'm so thrilled to be doing this collab with her. I cannot wait to see what is in her winter Shop My Stash. And then of course, we are hoping to continue this for the whole entire year and come back seasonally. So please join us. Other than that, I hope that you guys are all doing really, really well. I hope that you're continuing to stay safe and healthy. Take care of yourselves and those around you, and I cannot wait to see you in my next video. Bye guys.